Hi, I'm Tess with the Iowa State University Seed Lab. Registered seed technologists are in high demand. Start your journey August 10th through the 12th at our Beginner Seed Quality Testing Workshop. Get hands-on training from the best. Register today at seedlab.iastate.edu or scan the QR code.
Welcome to GermiNation, the podcast where seeds tell their stories. I'm your host, Cindy Hicks, coming to you from the Iowa State University Seed Science Center, a global leader in seed research, education, and outreach. Each episode, we dig into the beauty, wonder, and science of seeds, those tiny little powerhouses at the heart of agriculture, biodiversity, and global food security. Through conversations with scientists, farmers, industry leaders, and change makers around the world, we explore how seeds connect us, sustain us, and shape our future. This is GermiNation, where every great story starts with a seed.
Strong seed systems start with strong leaders. Hi, I'm Lori, Program Coordinator for Iowa State University's Seed Technology and Business Graduate Program. Our program equips professionals with the technical and business knowledge needed to lead in the seed industry. The program is online, flexible, and industry-focused. Apply today.
Hey, little seed. What do you need to help you grow?
Today on GermiNation, I'm honored to be joined by Susana Goggi, a distinguished seed physiologist at Iowa State University, whose career has shaped both the science of seeds and the students who study them. Dr. Goggi has spent decades advancing our understanding of seed quality, vigor, and performance, work that sits at the very foundation of global agriculture. Beyond her research, she has been a dedicated educator and mentor, helping train the next generation of seed scientists and agricultural leaders. Earlier this year, she moderated a student panel at the Agribusiness Showcase in Des Moines, Iowa, where emerging voices in agriculture shared their perspectives on careers, challenges, and opportunities in the field. As Dr. Goggi prepares to retire this June, her career offers a powerful lens into a pressing issue: the growing gap between retiring seed scientists and the number of young people entering the field. Today, we'll talk about her journey, what she's seen change over time, and why attracting the next generation into seed research is more urgent now than ever. Let's dig in. Dr. Goggi, welcome to GermiNation.
Thank you, Cindy. It's my pleasure to be in GermiNation.
So you're retiring this June. What first drew you to seed physiology, and what has kept you passionate about it over the years?
I came to the seed sciences as almost by accident. Sometimes it happens to a lot of people. In my case, I was honored to receive a Rotary scholarship to come to the U.S. to pursue graduate studies. And when I was going to come to the US, I met with somebody at Cargill in Argentina. And they said, I said, I like field work, but I also like laboratory work. And he says, there's a field where a lot of people are working here in Argentina, but nobody really has the training. And it would be great to have somebody train in that area, which is the area of seed science. So I contacted Mississippi State, which at the time had one of the more comprehensive programs in seed science, because they included many different crops. Iowa State was known for corn and soybean, and Oregon was known for seed grasses. But the only one that had a variety of crops was Mississippi State. So I came to the program a long time ago, and immediately I fell in love with it because it has all the things in research that I enjoy. I spend many, many hours in the field. And once the Rotary Scholarship ended, the department offered me an assistantship. So I had to work with all the crops that all the other students were working with. And so I spent many hours in rice fields and sorghum fields and cotton fields and all kinds of different crops. My research was first in corn for my master's program and in sorghum for my PhD. So I got to see lots and lots of different crops, do a lot of research with scanning electron microscopy, field work, breeding. So lots of different things that I really enjoy were combined in this science.
Looking back, what changes have you seen in the field of seed science over the past few decades?
When I came to the US, there were many faculty members doing seed research. There were people, the big programs were, as I said, Mississippi State, Oregon State, and Iowa State, but also Cornell had a program in vegetable seeds. Um, Virginia Tech had a program in vegetable seeds. Uh, California had also some vegetable seed research. So there were lots of scientists around the US. But we trained graduate students, and those graduate students primarily went to industry. So not many of those students decided to go into research. And I have lots of colleagues in the private sector, but I have very few colleagues now in the public sector that are still doing seed research.
What are you most proud of, your research, your students, or your impact on the field?
I think my students, they've always been my pride and joy. They have achieved incredible things in the private sector, and the few that decided to come back to the public sector also are doing great jobs at teaching the next generation of students that are going to go into seed science. So they are the continuation, and my program has really benefit from their work, from their research. And so that's what I'm the most proud of. The changes that I see from the moment they get into the program until the moment that they leave the program, and then the big changes and big leaps that they do after graduation are really I'm proud of their achievements.
You've seen many generations of students come through. Are we attracting enough young people into seed science today?
I think we're still attracting a lot of young people to seed science. Actually, I think the program has grown and we're attracting more students to seed science than when I first came in, um, especially at the undergraduate level. The seed companies are big source of jobs for graduates from Iowa State. And so students are deciding to come to seed science to have a better background when they go to work for industry. And so my class, when I first started teaching the undergraduate class, I had 5 students. And in 5 years, I started having 30 students, which was the cap. I couldn't get more students because of the laboratories and hands-on. But we met the cap of student from that moment on for the entire time. So we really trained a lot of undergraduates into seed science and technology. And then um, a steady stream of graduate students that have gone into industry at the PhD level or at the master's level, even more.
So they're going into private industry, but not entering academia where we need folks to train our next generation of seed scientists. How serious is the risk if seed scientists are not replaced in academia at the same rate they are retiring?
It's a big problem. There's a lot of people that work with seeds and they think they know seeds, but they make big mistakes in the physiology. So some of those are plant breeders. And so seed scientists are a huge complement of the seed industry. We are the people that understand the processes between the harvest, between the release of a new variety by a plant breeder, all the way to the moment that we sell it to the farmer. So the people that make sure that that seed is reproduced correctly, the people that make sure that the true variety is kept clean, the people that work with bagging, with removal of weeds without making any physiological damage to the seed, seed drying, seed packaging, storage conditions and the influence on the seed, all the way to the moment that they're planted. Those are the seed scientists. And yes, like my colleague in Cargill told me many, many years ago, there's a lot of people that work in these areas, but there's very few people that really understands the entire process and how some of the things that we see in the seeds that we produce are environmentally related and we can't change unless we change the environment where we're growing those seeds, all the way to the environments where we store them, all the way to the moment that we sell them. And the person that sees the big picture of all these different changes that can happen are seed scientists. And having individuals that work on one area of this, many different areas of this process, is not integrated and it doesn't really understand how these changes in seeds are happening throughout the entire process. So once something goes wrong, then they have to go back to all these people that do a little piece of the process and try to understand where things went wrong, while the seed scientists are the ones that follow the entire process until the end to make sure that nothing happens throughout the entire time.
Do you think seed science has an identity problem compared to flashier fields like biotech and AI, drones, that kind of thing?
Yes, I think we are more a traditional base of biology and physiology, and that has happened for whole plant physiologists or seed biologists, for people that work on those areas, as you said, that are not as flashy and they're not the last thing that just came out in the market, but are the ones that have to do the slow paced, long term studies that allow us to produce better and better quality seeds for the farmers. And so transformation, okay, I bring this gene and I put it in the plant. Well, you're really changing the genome. And if you're not really looking at the entire picture, you might be fixing something, but other things get out of sequence and they get now your seeds, yes, you have the new gene, but they don't germinate. So what do you do? And those people that understand all those processes are seed biologists.
So, how does seed physiology intersect with major global challenges like food security and climate resilience?
Um, as the environmental conditions change, the effects on seeds are going to also change. And pest pressures, lack of water, too much heat, those big swings in environmental conditions, all of those are going to be affecting what the seed can do based on that interaction between the genetics and the environment. And if we don't understand how those big changes in the environment um, change the quality of those seeds, we might end up with poor quality seeds that are sold to farmers, and then we can actually be inadvertently producing famine or poor yields or um, susceptibility to diseases that we didn't have before. And so we're going to have to work together those plant breeders, those seed biologists, to make sure that as the climate changes and as those challenges change, we're always one step ahead so that we are predicting what might be the next change so that we can adjust the way we produce the seeds or the way we breed seeds to make sure that we're always capable of having the flexibility of those environments that are changing, not really altering so much the field and the production that we don't have any food produced. So it's a global challenge. It's not a US challenge, it's not a Midwest challenge, because as we know, water is going to be scarce. We're going to need bigger, better adaptation to those conditions, larger root systems, deeper root systems, and seedlings that immediately, with little water, can actually germinate and start producing the plant. And then they're going to be the most efficient plants to utilize those resources that are going to be either lacking or they're going to be in lesser amounts available for plants. And it's going to get to the point that we're not going to be able to cut more trees to put more crops because those lands are not going to be as productive as the productive lands that we have. So we really have to have seed adapted to produce larger yields in the same areas where we're producing now. The answer is not going to be, okay, we're going to use this rainforest, cut it short, produce seeds or produce crops, because those are non-adapted areas that might produce for a couple of years, but if we don't manage them correctly, we lose all the fertility and we can't produce anymore. And now we lose the oxygen in the air that is released by the plant, by the trees. So we're going to have to produce more food for more people in the same areas we're producing it right now.
Well,
And
that
for
could be
that,
a whole nother germination episode on loss of farmland.
yes, probably. But what I'm trying to do is that we need to work as a team to make sure that all these genetic changes and all the good things that we're doing and all the um, capabilities of analyzing enormous amounts of data to predict things that we're going to have with AI, that all of those are used together to make sure that we are ready for these changes in the environment that are going to happen. And so that we can produce more in the same land where we're producing it now. So we have to become more efficient and better stewards of that land that we have.
And of course, we need the seed researchers to develop those new varieties of seed that can withstand the climate change. How do we get those people? How do we better tell the story of seed science to the next generation? What role does industry play in that? If you could design a pathway to seed research, what would it look like? Well, I just said a lot in in a little time there.
I think that more and more private sector and public sector are going to have to work together, and we are going to have to understand each other's needs, and we're going to have to collaborate and cooperate with each other, because we're not competing for the same thing. Industry is short-term research for finding short-term solutions to whatever problems they have. And public sector is long-term research for long-term problems and long-term flexibility. So we really have to collaborate and work together. And rather than duplicating the same efforts, try to combine those efforts to make longer and more important progress in the seed biology section. So to all those students, I always try to teach them everything that is associated with seed biology. So all the different steps, so that if they go to any of those areas in seed industry, they decide to be seed conditioning experts, or they decide to be laboratory seed testing experts, they know how the little job that they're doing fits in the whole of the seed industry. And for that, we need to collaborate more to allow students, when they go to industry, figure out how all these things that they've been learning are applicable to the jobs that they have in industry. And for industry to understand how we can better serve them, for us, understand how we can combine forces to solve the problems, because the problems are going to be changing and becoming important faster with a changing climate.
Well, as I said at the beginning of this interview, you recently moderated a student panel of aspiring seed scientists at the Iowa Agribusiness Showcase. What stood out to you from those student perspectives?
I think that they are uncertain of how much they know, and they're always looking to learn more. They don't have the confidence that they know what is out there, and they just have to continue learning, but they are willing to continue learning. That's what they want to know. They want to learn from industry. They want to learn from people that have been in industry for many years. And they want to go out there and figure out all these things that we taught them in academia, how they apply to their jobs, and what were the benefits of what they learn to real case scenarios in life. So that was, to me, very striking. Um, how they're hoping, or how all of them had jobs, or many of them had jobs before they even graduated. They had jobs lined up. So there is a need in industry for these people that we are training, and they're going to have jobs as they come out. And the fact that, yes, I'm sure money was important, but they had a lot of other things that were more about learning and growing, that were more important to them than the salary they were going to get when they just got out of school.
I think that's what stood out to me too, that, salary was important, but it wasn't on the top of the list.
No, they had lots of other things. I think they are concerned because they don't know how much they know, and they are worried about proving themselves, and so they need somebody in industry that also helps them grow and see how the things they learn in academia are actually applicable, and they're going to help them do their jobs in the day to day. And I think that is what is more in their mind as they're graduating than, yeah, I want to make a lot of money. They know that that's going to come eventually. But right now they realize, yeah, I have all this information. Now I have to put it in the practical sense. And I would like to have somebody walk with me during that transition and learn from somebody that has been doing this for a long time.
Before we listen to the student panel discussion, what do you think listeners should pay attention to in what those students are saying?
I think they should be paying attention to the variety of interest that these students have. There are people with international work experience as they graduate, people that want to do local work and help their communities. So there is no one single person. Iowa State doesn't turn out people that are fitting a mold. We try to encourage them to think broadly and to explore other things that might be a little bit outside their comfort zone. And so these students, when they come to industry, they have experiences and interests that are just beyond being an agronomist. And so industry should help them develop in those things because the companies that they're going to work for are global. And so if you get somebody with global experience interested in global agriculture, that's an amazing resource. And so I would say listen to this panel and hear all the different things that with the same education, these students that are graduating are hoping to do when they enter the workforce.
Okay, well, let's listen.
First, I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves one more time. So why don't we start at that end, coming this way?
I don't mean my friend. Okay. My name is Cassie Austin. I'm from Benton, North Iowa. Here at Iowa State, I'm studying biological systems engineering. It's just like ag engineering, but I'm working in the food and bioprocess side. Ultimately, I just want to go into the seed industry. So, that's a little bit about.
Zach?
Yeah, my name is Zach Otley. I'm from New Hampton, Iowa. I'm a senior economist, so I graduated this year, this May, and I'm looking forward to going back to Nintendo to work in seeds.
I'm Kira Simmons. I am a junior studying agronomy, seed science, international agriculture, and I am from Yale, Iowa, and just like everybody else, I'm excited to work in the seed industry.
My name is Jenna Morris, and I'm a junior here majoring in agronomy, and I'm from Pennsylvania. My name is Olivia Marty. I'm a current senior at Iowa State in ag business with a minor in agronomy, and I will be working with Bayer Crop Science in their seed division after graduation.
I'm Elena Gable. I'm a junior in agricultural education and global resource systems with a minor in agronomy. So I'm a little bit more removed from the seed science industry. I'm more interested in how can we better communicate technology and research to farmers and youth globally.
Okay, so the first question that we're going to ask them is, what excites you about entering the seed industry or being associated with a seed industry in the case of Elena, who actually wants to do sports, education, and communication? We're going to start with this side.
So I think I'm really interested in the continued research and technology that continues to be created. I'm interested in, how can we better communicate that to farmers? And so that's what really excites me, and how can we better meet the needs of our growing population through better translating that information to individuals.
What excites me about entering the seed industry is being able to service producers through my education, through my experiences, through research. And I think it's also very exciting to know that seed science and the seed industry is something that you can never get too comfortable in. There's a lot of technology that's always adapting, and a lot of learning that has to be done every single day just to keep up with what's the best resources that I can offer producers and farmers. I think what excites me about the seed industry is that it connects agriculture with a real world impact. Seeds are the foundation of everything. They impact people, the environment, really everybody. So it really feels like a place where I can make a tangible difference, and I'm excited about the opportunity that this industry can provide me.
Similarly to Elena, I am excited about the research and the development that's needed in the seed industry, because we are constantly trying to find the next best thing, because there's constantly having more problems or different pests or diseases that are coming in that we need to tackle. So just the ability to continue to try and find that better thing for our producers throughout the world.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really exciting time to be entering the seed industry. Specifically, like when I go home, I'm excited to work with farmers on a daily basis, because there's a lot of people that know a lot more than I do, and I'm really actually excited to be able to learn from a lot of professionals, people that have been in it for a while, as well as also look at research and new things that are coming out. Because there's a really interesting time with all these credits and stuff, and meshing all together to help farmers get a competitive edge. It's gonna be really exciting to see anything.
Yeah, I on top of all of that, I am super excited that I just feel like the opportunities in this industry are limitless, and that there's no roof over your head. You can just keep going, and that there's so many things that we can improve on. And as an engineer, that's like what my goal is. But then also like communicating that to the farmer, the grower, and then people that sell the seed. I think that it's really important to be able to understand the small scale aspects of this industry as well.
What are your expectations for a career in the seed industry? And I'm sure that everybody that is sitting here is interested in knowing what are the students that just come out of college want to see in their careers in the seed industry, or what are their expectations? So we're going to start that way, this way, please.
Of course. So my expectation for my career is just to understand and grow and agriculture is constantly changing beyond of that and stuff. Adapt those changes, especially with like the climate that we're facing, the differences in how we grow the seed, just improving that process, but then also getting to communicate with younger kids and really get people interested in this, especially because like we need people to continue to want how find the world. And I feel a lot of people don't really understand that. Let cross feed them. So I'm really just getting education out there as well.
Yeah, I guess I expect to work hard. The seed industry it's a lot of work, and it takes a lot. It takes a whole village, and I mean I'm expecting to do a lot of work and constantly learn, because you can't get to the place and do the same thing. You have to very trying something new and doing something different, and so trying to figure out the new thing you to get that whole that advantage. I think that's what I'm expecting. There's a lot of work.
I'm expecting, sort of like I alluded to earlier, a lot of innovation and research to go into it, but then also on the other side of it, a lot of collaboration. I've traveled abroad multiple times and spoke to different farmers at multiple different countries, and they are very open with their practices to other farmers, and both different industry professionals very open to other companies. So just being able to collaborate with each other to make sure that we are having the best seed on our field and make sure that we're utilizing the best practices is something that I am really interested in, especially after having that experience abroad.
For me, something that really motivates me is change, and I feel that there's so many roles that are constantly changing within the seed industry, and I'm really excited to see what different roles I can step into and what information I can learn in those roles, and I really want to take that information and share it with as many people as I can to hopefully make a difference and educate others. I expect my career in the seed industry. I think that this was reiterated a couple different ways in the rest of the answers, but I do think that it'll be challenging at times, but exciting for the exact same reasons. There's a lot of change and a lot of different things that you have to adapt to. You learn every single day, but I think that that's a really great aspect to the seed industry as well, because you get an opportunity to share the voice of producers and different categories within the seed industry and helping to evolve each and every day. But it will take a lot of hard work, as Zach said.
I think my answer is very similar to Kira and Cassie, but my interest specifically is in global youth development and how can we get more youth globally interested in agriculture. I was just actually in Ghana on an agronomy trip through Iowa State, and we got to work with some 4-H kids, and they're so excited to serve their communities through agriculture and through agronomy. So I think that our industry can really tap into that enthusiasm globally and connect our world through that enthusiasm.
What would make the seed industry a more attractive option for you? And I'm going to ask you to answer when you're going out into an internship, as well as when you're going out into the industry with your new fresh job and your first job in your career. So what are you looking for? We're going to start with you, Renee.
I think we've mentioned multiple times on this panel is that being involved in this industry means that you're serving a purpose bigger than yourself. And I think that sometimes youth kind of need to see that to be motivated to be involved in agriculture and seed science. So just reiterating that to people that we're serving the world by being involved in this role. And I think that mentorship is also a big part about starting a career. And so starting off having mentors would be really great to start off on the right foot.
When it comes to entering into an internship or a job, I think that there's two main aspects, and this goes for any industry, but it's to understand the why behind what you're doing. What are you doing? Who is it impacting? Different things like that. But then also to really understand and know the people around you, to feel comfortable, to have a mentor, like Elena said, that you can say, hey, this might be a dumb question, but I don't know how to do this. But that really helps you to grow and make sure that you feel comfortable in what you're doing and you can better service that overall why that you have the passion for. So I think that that is what made the seed industry attractive to me and why I chose to work in it.
I think they both touched on it, like the why and the education. But I think for a lot of people, when they look at the seed industry, they think you're either in research or you are a grower. And I think that we need to educate people that there's so many more roles and skills needed in the seed industry, and there really is a place for everybody.
In whether it's an internship or a career, I think professional development and mentorship is really important to me. I've had multiple internships where I have been paired with a mentor that isn't my boss. So I've had multiple different figures to be able to both network with and understand how they got in this position, why they chose to get there, and also just have another set of eyes so that I can feel comfortable asking multiple people questions because I'm still learning. But I also know when it comes to careers, there are a lot of companies that have like multiple, like 2 or 3 year professional or sort of like training programs to build you up to that. Because when we're coming out fresh out of college, most of the time, there's a lot of people that have been in the industry for years that we are trying to compete with. And it's really hard to just like get sent out there and attempt to try and find our own customers and stuff like that. But to be able to have that professional development program in place to build us up to that point and make sure that we can be in different environments or learn from different people would be really good.
I think internships are very important, especially when it comes to entering any industry. Finding out what you like is very important. Determining do you like to be outside versus inside. You want to be a sales rep, you want to be on the farm, that kind of thing. And I know personally myself, I decided I like to be outside on the farms, with people looking at stuff and learning things. So that's what my interest lies in. So I think a very important part of any industry is trying to figure out, well, where do I fit in and where would I have interest? So that's the variety of the internships. Big part.
Yeah, on top of that, I just think that you can't have enough internships. You don't know exactly what you want to do when you leave college. I feel like a lot of students are at that point where they're like, I don't 100% know what I want to do. I had all these experiences. I may have liked them. I've liked certain parts of them, but I love it all. And so just being able to like go out with the mentors and experience a lot of different opportunities to find your spot in the seed industry is just around that.
A couple of things that I want to highlight that always amaze me when I ask this question from the students. As you notice, nobody said salary, which is amazing. They are interested in learning, in growing, in mentorship, in professional development, in learning from you, in trying to figure out where they're going. So they have all this knowledge that Iowa State gave them, but they're not sure because they lack so many different things. And one thing that I will tell the students is don't lock yourself in a job. Be always open to change. You might change much later in your career. You might do a lot of one thing, and then one day you decide, I would like to try this other thing. So leave yourself open for that. And to the seed industry, mentor these kids and try to help them achieve the maximum that all of us had the opportunity, thanks to our mentors, to do.
Yeah, I much appreciate you guys coming up, giving your opinions. I really have some takeaways there from them when you really talk about their expectations. It's really important for us as professionals in the seed industry to realize, hey, if we want this talent, this is the environment that we need to get. Quite frankly, whether I'm sitting in this room at the Iowa Seed Association listening to the scholarship winners, or I'm at IPSA listening to the scholarships, I really come to always be humbled. Sometimes I think I had some accomplishments in my collegiate career, and then I realized that I'm not doing squat compared to what some of these students are doing. So again, thank you very much. We have a break now. We'll come back at 10:30 with this stuff, but please make sure and introduce yourselves to each other, have conversations, get to know these. I mean, obviously the excitement for the seed industry and these students is amazing. And if we can get that communications. Some of these students already have jobs lined up, but quite a few of them are still a few years left. So if we can get the connection and snag them for your organization, I think let's have the communication. So.
What an impressive group of students.
Definitely, definitely. Really amazing students.
So as you step into retirement, what gives you hope about the future of seed science?
I hope that this such an important discipline doesn't get diluted by the fashionable new things coming down. I know that we're going to need people, we're going to need engineers, we're going to need other people that are trained in all these other areas, but seeds are the base of everything. They're the base of the yields, are the base of food security, are the base of production, are the base of kinds of things. And seed scientists work with vegetable seeds, they work with crop seeds, they work with forage seeds. So they are trained to do a very important work that is between the hybrid released or the variety released by a plant breeder all the way to the farmer putting that seed on the ground and getting an uniform emergence. So yes, you can have people specialize in different things, but you need scientists that can see the entire picture. And yes, you can have plant transformation people and you can have molecular biology people and you can have, but you need those people that understand every single change, how they can actually impact that seed and the emergence of it. And those are seed biologists, seed physiologists, seed technologists. So it is a key area for the success of a crop.
What advice would you give a student who's curious about entering this field?
I think it's a fascinating field. And once you enter seed science, you just fall in love with it. It's easy to fall in love with this discipline because it's just so comprehensive and it gives you so many different areas that you can actually specialize in or go to. And at the same time, it allows you to understand a lot of different things about the seed industry. So I tell them, you know, it's worth getting into the field, even if it's not the fashionable field, because they're always going to be needed. The people that understand the whole picture and the entire system.
I recently heard that 1 out of every 3 bites of food that goes in your mouth originates as a seed.
Yes,
Yes.
70% of all the carbohydrates that humans eat come from seeds, and almost 90% of or 80% of everything that we eat comes from seeds, either from in the proteins, because they either are the animals that we eat that ate the seeds, or they ate the crop that came from the seeds, and or the seeds themselves have protein. So yes, I think it's amazing how much of the food system comes from seeds.
There's one message you would want to give to industry, universities, and or policymakers, what would it be?
Find ways to collaborate. Find ways to train the people that is going to be doing production in the future. Seed scientists are very necessary if we are going to have future seed production with somebody that understands the entire field. So it needs money. I think that happened to plant breeding for a long time, and now they have understood that without plant breeders, we can't do anything. But seed scientists are extremely important, and we have to talk more and present more what we do so that people understand the importance of this group of scientists.
Susana, thank you for joining me on GermiNation today. I wish you much happiness in your retirement.
Thank you, Cindy, very much. I'll be around if you need me for anything.
Thank you for tuning in today. We'd like to give a special thank you to Let's Roll Snowball for allowing us to use the seed song. If you enjoyed it, be sure to check out Let's Roll Snowball on YouTube for more fun and educational songs for children. GermiNation is a podcast produced by the Iowa State University Seed Science Center. The views and opinions expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Iowa State University or the Seed Science Center. This podcast is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Thank you for listening to GermiNation, where every great story starts with a seed.